In the previous video, we set up some baselines and a baseline group, and then I went ahead and attached one of the hosts in my cluster. So we also have the option to update virtual machines using VUM in order to put their VMware tools up to date and also to do the virtual hardware upgrade. Now, the VMware tools update can actually be set in the properties of the virtual machine that they automatically check for new versions of VMware tools every time you power cycle them, so that every time you have downtime, you can go ahead and get it installed. Virtual machines restart pretty quick compared to physical machines, but it doesn't give us the option to handle machines that don't get turned on frequently or that might not get turned on for whatever reason for long periods of time and might get more out of date and might end up being quite out of date. So what we might want to do is even bring up some of those virtual machines and make sure that they get put up to date. And also the virtual hardware update is important as well. Now that we're into the Update Manager tab in the correct location on this folder, we can go ahead and attach the baselines. Now my VMware tools are up to date for my virtual machines. I'm going to go ahead and attach, and we've got 3 baselines, one for the tools, one for the hardware upgrade, and one for virtual appliances. Let's pick the tools and the hardware upgrade and go ahead and attach those. Now I'd previously done some scans, so we can see in this case that our VMware tools upgrade looks like we're compliant across the board there, but on our VMware hardware upgrade, we've got some non-compliant hosts. So let's take a look at remediating that. Now, if this was just VMware tools, you'll see we have a few options here, like just setting VMware tools to be available during power cycle, but that's not going to automatically bring up either powered off virtual machines or any suspended virtual machines. So I'm going to go ahead and remediate. And in this case, we could pick either a hardware upgrade or a tools upgrade. When we do this, we're going to have slightly different options for the hardware upgrade and the tools upgrade. For the tools upgrade, we can specify options like whether or not to do a snapshot beforehand, and whether or not we want to update powered on virtual machines immediately, how to handle powered off machines and when to do it immediately or on a schedule, and also suspended virtual machines. So let's take a look at the hardware upgrade options. So we've got the task name of virtual machines tools updates. Again, we can schedule for machines that are currently powered on or powered off whenever. That's going to require us to bring these virtual machines up, so they're actually going to get powered on. And you'll see a note at the top here, upgrading a machine might require it to be powered on, powered off, and or rebooted multiple times. So that's a bit of a process. In this case, I'm not remediating against an upgrade VMware tools baseline. So you'll see I don't have the option to just say upgrade VMware tools on power cycle, which is really just going to go mark the configuration of those virtual machines. Probably better to schedule them this way if we really want to guarantee that it's all up to date. Click next. We can have it take a snapshot. And we have the normal option to create a snapshot with the memory as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click next and then finish. So that gives us a pretty good idea of how we can update the virtual machine tools and also the hardware version for our virtual machines using VUM. It's reasonably straightforward, but we're going to have to think about whether it's really necessary to do that. I mean, it's always a best practice to have the tools and the hardware be as recent as possible. But you might not want to do that. For example, if you're moving between versions of VMware, you may need to keep an older version of the hardware particularly to ensure that you don't have problems.